Average shares. We have at the beginning of the current year, Hardin Company had 20,000 shares of $10 par common stock outstanding. During the year, it engaged in the following transactions related to its common stock, so that at year end it had 63,800 shares outstanding. April 1st issued 5,000 shares, June 1st issued 4,000 shares, July 1st issued a 10% stock dividend, September 30th issued a 2-for-1 stock split, reducing the par value to $5 per share. October 1st reacquired 1,000 shares as treasury stock, and November 30th reissued the 1,000 shares of treasury stock. And then determine the weighted average number of shares outstanding for computing the current earnings per share. Round your interim computations and final answer for the number of shares to the nearest whole number. So we're going to do the weighted average method, and we'll use a little table to help us do that. Remember that for the stock split and the stock dividend, those retroactively are applied. So that's part of why having this little table will help make this easier. So we'll start out from January to April 1st, we have 20,000 shares. So I'll just type here January to March. And 20,000 shares. And then because of that 10% stock dividend, we're going to multiply it by 1.1. So I'll list that here. And then because of the 2-for-1 stock split, we'll multiply it by 2. And then, of course, we have to multiply it by the portion of the year. So January to March is 3 out of 12 months. And then we can multiply across, and then we're going to use the round function so that it rounds to the whole number like the problem told us we need to. So we'll type equals round, open parentheses, the number of shares times our 10% stock dividend times our 2% split times our quarter of a year, comma, now it's saying how many digits do you want us to round to, and that's going to be 0 because we want a whole number, close parentheses, and we have 11,000. And so now we need to keep doing this for the different situations we're looking at. So now we have April through June 1st, so April through May, and it would be our 20,000 plus 5,000 shares that were distributed on April 1st. Same thing, we still have to do the 10% dividend, the 2% split. This is 2 out of 12 months. And now we should be able to pull this formula down, and it'll carry it down for us. Now we have just the month of June, but actually this, because we're dealing with the dividend and the split, it's actually going to be the same all the way through September 30th. So we can just say June through September. And now we're going to have our previous 25,000 plus the 4,000 shares, our same 10%, 2-to-1 split, and this is June, July, August, September, so 4. All right, and I just pulled that formula down again. So now we have October through November 30th, so we'll say October to November. And we're reacquiring 1,000 shares of treasury stock. And so we're actually going to keep this 29,000 and our 1.1, our 2, this is 2 months, but we're going to change this formula here just a tiny bit because we need to account for the 10% dividend and the 2% split before we subtract out the 1,000 shares. So if we just pull this formula down, it's not going to work. Also, if we just typed 28,000 right here, it wouldn't work because then it would be multiplying the 10% dividend and the 2% or 2-to-1 split against 28,000. But really, we need that multiplication to happen first and then subtract out the 1,000 shares of treasury stock. So in this formula, we'll still use the round, open parentheses. We're going to need a couple parentheses here, I think 3. So we'll do our 29,000 times the 1.1 times the 2, close parentheses. Then, now that we've done that math, we want to subtract the 1,000 that we've reacquired, and then we can close parentheses and then multiply it by our portion of the year, and then our 0 digits, and we get 10,467. And then finally, we have just the month of December because it's November 30th. And now we are reissuing the 1,000 shares, so we're back to 29,000, our 1.1 or 10% dividend, our 2% split. This is 1 out of 12 months. And I can copy the formula, not the one right above it, but any of these top 3 down. And then we can do a sum over here. And we get a weighted average of 57,218.